Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the October 5th council meeting. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Mayor Patricelli. Present. Councilwoman Diamond.
Present.
Councilman Dawes.
Here. I'll ask everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, well, I think the first thing we will start with is a presentation. That's okay? Okay, and then we'll go right into our meeting. So, you want to come up? Alexis, will you come up? Yeah, we'll do. Alexis, I can't tell you how it felt when I heard what you did, and when we heard about the the incident that you had and the immediate action that you took. It just sent something shivers down my spine to say I just was so glad that you were there.
Right.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And doing that is not only something we want to say thank you for, but also an awareness of the problem that we have here, not only in the city here, but also throughout the whole country.
Right.
And I think having Narcan available to anybody that you had no, let's say, just having it on hand is such an important piece of information, and something that really, I think, other people should realize that this could happen at any time in any place. And it happened here, and I want to say thank you. So on behalf of the City Council, I'd like to say we as Mayor and the City Council hereby express our admiration for your heroic actions on September 27, 2023, whereby the compassion and quick thinking you administered Narcan to an unconscious man that resulted in the saving of a human life. We commend you for this noble service. Alexis, how do you say that?
Castricani.
Castricani. Okay.
Castricani.
Castricani. Alexis, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, and thank you for coming. All right.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
That is awesome, really.
Thank you.
It's a wonderful thing.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Well,
Congratulations.
wanted to say thank you. You want to say anything? It's all right.
Look, I'm starting to
It's
get
all
a
right.
little emotional. I mean, I don't know if it would be anything that anyone could do through here, or maybe here in the office of the mayor, maybe you could, but I think that there should be more resources and more, not many people even knew you could take a course to
Right.
obtain
Right.
Narcan. So I think it would be a really good idea if there was more resources for that around here, or,
Right.
easier for people to obtain it.
Now, do you know for a fact that we do have a Narcan station right here in the library?
I had no idea,
We do
which
have
is
an-
great, because I want to.
If you want one, you can grab one right as you walk out. You can grab it's right on the wall out here, and it's available to everybody. We tried to find some locations. We had some some suggestions. So we'd like to get more businesses involved.
Right.
They sometimes are reluctant right now, but I think that'll come by past a little later.
Yeah.
But we do have a station right here, so if anybody's looking for a Narcan
That's
kit,
awesome.
they can have it. And so that's right now one of the steps in the right direction.
Yeah, of course.
Okay?
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you
Take
very
care.
much.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
so much.
Thank
really.
you.
Bye.
It's wonderful. That's
Thank you. Have a good
something
night.
You'll always remember for the rest of your life.
I
Really,
know.
saving
Oh
someone's
my
life.
goodness. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, good night. Thank you. All right, the next order of business will be approving the minutes of September 7th.
Mayor, I will make a motion that we dispense with the reading of the minutes of the September 7th meeting.
I'll second the motion.
A motion was made and seconded to suspend the minutes, reading the minutes of September 7th. Can I have a roll, please?
Councilwoman Diamond.
In favor?
Councilman Dawes.
Favor.
Mayor Patricelli.
In favor. The second Order of business will be the reading of the minutes of September 21st.
I'll make a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes of September 21st.
I will second it.
There are modifications to that, to those minutes?
Yes. In the closing of page 2, where the motion was made to adjourn the meeting, we have the minutes that currently say the motion was made by Councilman Dawes and then seconded by Councilwoman Diamond. That was an error, and it should be was seconded by Mayor Petroselli, as Councilwoman Diamond was absent that meeting. And then the time of that I did not finish that off, but the adjournment was 6:35 p.m. So those are the changes for the minutes of September 21st.
All right. With those amendments, do I have a motion to approve?
I will make a motion that we approve the
Amendment.
minutes
Okay.
of September 21st.
I'll second the motion.
Call the roll, please.
Councilwoman Diamond?
In favor?
Councilman Dawes? Favor. Mayor Patricelli?
In favor. Okay, just to let everybody know, we did have a budget meeting tonight. The budget was for the highway department. We went over their expenses, what they had for the 2023 and what we're expecting for 2024. The next budget meeting will be October 19th, and that'll be with who? Police?
Please.
Police, okay. All right.
5 o'clock.
What's that?
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock. 5 o'clock. We'll go into reports of officers and committees.
All right. So we are still moving forward in the right direction of finalizing the community center changes, which is the former Dutch Reformed Church. As I told you last meeting, we started the roof work. Well, we found 4 layers on the roof that existed as it is today. And with that, we just exposed more rot on the south side of the church. So I advised the contractor to move forward and give me a work order because it would have hindered the job. So if you can see the church, as you go outside, on the roof area, there's what they call a parapet. So a parapet comes up and the roof structure comes actually down like this. And in there is where the water goes into the gutters. Well, what had happened was through the multiple layers, water was ponding and rot started going back up the roof joists, the roof trusses. So anywhere from about maybe 18 inches to 2 feet of rot has been exposed on there. So we're trying to sister boards together to strengthen it. And some we might have to do a replacement because we can't sister the boards together. And what a sister of the board means, this is the truss. And if it's rotted, you put 2 pieces of wood together and make sure that they are bound together. So you bolt them, you nail them, you do whatever, but we connect it. So we're doing that, replacing. And I wanted to make sure we did everything that was dimensional. So if it was 18 inches, we're taking it to 2 feet, because 2 feet was the widest amount of rot that we found. So we go right across the board, you cut everything at 2 feet. You buy a 4x8 sheet of plywood, you cut that in half, we're at 2 feet, and you can run right down. So I wanted everything dimensional to make it an expeditious way to get that roof back on. So that's the Dutch Reformed Church. We're moving forward with it, but you should go in.
What about the gutters?
The gutters will be replaced during the course of it, because the gutters is where we found the asbestos with it. And the asbestos was actually at the point of adhering the copper to the parapet. So all that will be taken care of as we go along. Bathrooms are all framed out, so you can see that as you go in. And also, I didn't check it today, but I believe they were ready to dismantle all the brick to go in for where the lift is going to be. So that's the Dutch Reformed Church moving along, and they're doing great work on that. Today they actually started boarding up the 2 windows that are along the 15th Street side. That's where we had water coming into the basement. We had animals coming into the basement, and we're closing those windows up. We're bricking them up, and that was a change that As you know, as council, you joined me at the Town of Guilderland's zoning board meeting. They had a project out there, 4478 Western Turnpike, which was not abandoned property, it was a vacant property that was soon to turn into what was being proposed for a construction warehouse storage location. It's not permitted technically by zoning, so a special use permit was going through. But the major part of this project, as we all knew, was that it was a corner property. Here's the reservoir, and the no encroach buffer by Gilderland was 500 feet. Their design was to encroach and go to a 300-foot line, and all that runoff and all the concerns would have been for the health and the safety of the reservoir. Through conversations with the zoning board of appeals, ourselves, and the residents of the town of Gilderland, that project has been denied, and rightfully so. So we're waiting to see the outcome of that, what the contractor plans to do. Hopefully nothing. It doesn't come back with a proposed use, and we hopefully can see that go in the hands of for a while and not be developed again. We're looking to get a quote. We should have a quote hopefully by tomorrow for the Bank of the Hudson. I know Council and I spoke about it based on the cost. Although they are a state contractor and we're getting bid on that one, we should get a comparable pricing for it. So we should hopefully have a bid back for the cleanup of the Hudson Shores embankment all the way from the entryway to the ramp system. I do have a question with the council. We had an ordinance last week, or 2 weeks ago, which I believe Lieutenant Strock has reached out to you on. Right now, we're idle on ordinance number 6 that was in place, and this was the arsenal parking. I believe you spoke with Lieutenant Strock, and I need to know if we're advancing this ordinance or not down the road. I understand there might have been a misinterpretation or misunderstanding with it, but I need to clarify if that's a go forward or are we not going to be going forward with that one.
I just have a quick question about section 2 of that ordinance first.
Okay.
It talked about, it said removing, it didn't say, I don't think it said signs, but it said removing, I don't know whether it was parking, pretty much in front of Laurel's Florals.
Yes.
Like from the alleyway just north of 736 3rd Avenue, going south for 86 feet. Now, right now, there are signs up that says 20-minute parking only, Monday through Saturday or something. So what does that mean, remove? I mean,
No parking at all. The way that was written,
What's that?
that's what it said. It was, so we're removing
in front of the
that.
flower shop?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So, but
because across the street from the Arsenal City Tavern, I think in that section, I think it said add, and then in section 2 it said remove, so I'm like, okay.
So I think, to clarify, I think he wants to add signs to put no parking along the Arsenal.
Correct.
And
Oh.
remove the sign so there's no parking outside them. So they want to
Yeah.
actually take away spots in front of the flower shop and spots in front of wood burning. the old
right,
wood burning.
and that's the way it was proposed to do.
Okay.
Now, if you have concerns about a small business not having the ability to park and come, then that's the issue at hand.
I do.
Okay.
I mean, she's got nothing there really, and it's kind of, how
Yeah.
far is 86 feet? How far down 3rd Avenue is that? Does that go as far as any of those houses?
Probably that next house. That's probably the whole lot there, because she's got her store, and then that little parking lot that she gets in the back.
So,
And then the next house.
That nobody even knows.
so if you go from wall to this lane here, that's 30 feet. So you can imagine, going all the way down, that's
Oh.
86 feet.
It's down the length of her whole
Yeah.
store and parking area, right into that first
Okay.
house.
So,
Okay,
and again, this is for the benefit of the arsenal.
right.
Now, when Lieutenant Strock said to me, about it, that he spoke to the council on it,
He did not speak to me.
I know he didn't, because he thought you were on the council, but as mayor, but not as a council.
Okay.
So I told him he does have to include the next conversation.
No, I mean, I'm just saying, I know you said he spoke, but
Yeah.
I did not speak to him about it.
But he's under the understanding that he wanted to get it on again tonight. And I said, not until I'm, we're convinced that we will agree on it. Because what he said, can we remove the parking now and then put it back if we had to later? No, we're not doing that. Because once it's gone and they pay for all the striping and everything, it's going to be harder to replace it.
Okay.
So I want everybody to make sure they want that ordinance before I'm asked again to put it onto this. Because this will be the
The
third time.
conversation I had with him was, we weren't addressing the flower shop whatsoever. We're more addressing that lane going in.
Yeah,
And one of the things I said to him was, well, is this something that, can we put like a temporary, if there's, because nobody's in that business right now,
yeah.
and say nobody's using it, if nobody's using it, can we put the temporary lane in and then remove it if we do have a business come in? That was the discussion that I had with him, but it didn't go any further than that.
Okay.
Right, and he had mentioned.
But
that.
I also
Okay,
had to
that's
check
not,
the other
that's
spot.
something
I didn't even
to-
get to the other spot yet, so it wasn't.
Yeah, well, I'm not a proponent for a test case, I'm not a proponent for removing and then bringing it back later.
Okay.
No,
I
no.
want to make sure we're
Okay.
solidified as to how you want to go forward before we bring it back to you.
Well, I had said, I had asked also, can we put, across the street from the Arsenal City Tavern, can we put signs up that say, like, no parking 8 AM to 5 PM, Monday through Friday? That way, on the weekend, the spots would still be available for the Arsenal City Tavern, and at night they would be. And
But that-
and he did explain to me that they want that whole lane as a turning lane, so that whole solid line is gonna come out, and it's like,
Right, that's the legal lane that goes.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that to me makes
Yeah.
alternative sense by doing it no parking while the arsenal is in operation for daytime. That makes it not a bad alternative, but.
I do
Either
admit,
way,
that's a tough corner when it's very busy. I mean,
Yeah,
I have seen people kind of cut around and so forth, but I don't know.
so,
I'm opposed to it.
okay.
Yeah, I'm opposed to it.
And why are they looking to take away spots in front of the flower shop?
I guess that was another area where people could queue or make it, if they're turning here, they have a way to go around the car. So if they're turning into the arsenal, now you have a free, kind of uninhibited way to
Okay.
keep going.
For flow of city
Yeah,
traffic to
that's
go.
like.
Because if you were coming from Third Avenue, like say
Yeah.
from Skylar Bakery, and there was traffic trying to turn into the Arsenal, you have a lane that they
Right.
continue
Yeah.
on.
That's a whole little interesting thing. I come down 8th Street all the time and take a left onto Third Avenue.
It's tough.
And they
Yeah.
do not stop coming out of the Arsenal.
No, they
If they're
don't.
taking a right, it's kind of like, you're right there, I'm gonna see if I can, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough.
Well, I just wanted to see where we stood, and it doesn't sound like we have any affirmatives to it, so I'm not
Well,
gonna.
I personally would not be in favor of taking away parking from Florals. That's about pretty much all she's got
Small
there.
businesses have their own problems
Yeah.
trying to do, and they take away the
Yes,
parking. That's tough.
And I do see people parked there for 20 minutes just running in to grab something, and
Well, I'll work with them and see what the thoughts are, but I think a great alternative would be just putting no parking signs from Monday through Friday from, let's say, 7 o'clock to 5 PM, and then go from there.
The better alternative is for them to redesign that whole area there.
There was, that
Cut
whole
into
30.
their parking lot.
Then, you know what, then that's their
that
parking lot, that's
huge
their issue.
parking lot.
That
Yeah.
is- They've got a lot of room there. I mean, again, I don't think they realized what they were up against as well. When they could, now that it's there, it's kind of like, okay, maybe this would be different. But if you're gonna take anything, take it from their own issue, not ours.
Well, it's interesting, because I've seen tractor trailers actually coming up, going past Arsenal City Tavern and pulling into that parking lot just past the gate, turning around there and then trying to, get into the Arsenal that way. They just make this whole big loop, and it's like,
Yeah.
And speaking of the Arsenal, I was asked to post something too, but I'll mention it too. Their system is down for Watervliet taps, whatever, and they ordered parts, and it'll be coming. It is not terminated or anything, but you haven't heard it in probably a week.
okay.
So I'm surprised I didn't get any other questions on it, but I know, but just want to mention it. But they were nice enough to let us know.
And just lastly on this, as you might have seen, you have operations starting on the cooling and heating system here at the senior center. We took the system down, drained it on Tuesday. Tuesday it was. They did everything they had to do, adjust some elbows and things that were leaking, and now they're recharging it today, and that'll be for the heating system and upgrades to our system here at the, which was all part of the street lighting package.
Okay.
This was the benefactor here.
This was option 2,
Yeah, this is option 2
Oh,
that was for.
remember?
Yes,
That was a drinking night for Okay, that's it? All right, well, thank you, Joe. All right, anything under old business?
There is nothing under old business for this evening.
Then we'll move into new business.
The first order of new business is the 2024 water and sewer budget presentation.
Okay.
I provided the council and
You talking in like
I provided the council and the folks at the table, along with the non-audience, copies of the presentation. Essentially going through just the 2023 budget to 2024 budget headers. You're going to see some slight increases in the water department. We're doing some hydro upgrades, we're doing reservoir maintenance upgrades. There's some chemical cost upgrades for the filter plant. Distribution is a very small increase for vehicle maintenance. You've got a decent increase in health insurance, and then there's a decent decrease in transfers and debts. And that big decrease is there's funds put into the equipment purchase account last year that does not need to be put in there again for 2024. As far as revenues goes, we are staying pretty steady with the exception of Gilderland's revenue. They're going to be about $1 million, just over $1 million next year, and they were at $900,000 for 2023. So what does this all mean for the water fund? No increase in 2024, and we'll be working on our filter plant upgrades with the EFC grants and the WEAV grants. We'll be continuing our reservoir maintenance and upgrades to the hydro for licensing agreement. Moving on to the sewer fund, most things are staying pretty steady. The big difference you're going to see here is in employee benefits, and it's no surprise we are seeing a large jump due to health insurance. I've talked to council previously about health insurance increasing substantially in 2024, so you're seeing it in the sewer budget here. When you go to their revenues, you're seeing them remaining pretty constant. However, we are requesting an increase of 3% in the sewer fund for covering these costs. That 3% is $2.96 per unit per bill. That'll allow us to continue projects in our sewer department like camera work, the CSO separation project, and we will be paying on debt for the Beaver Creek project, which is actually an Albany project, but we are part of the Clean Water Coalition. So we got the project in Port Schuyler on 3rd Ave, the retainage units, and this is what Albany's project is. They're doing some work on Beaver Creek, so we'll have to pay the debt on that. Next steps from here, we're going to
was a
call.
good deal.
Sorry.
That was a good deal.
We are going to call for a public of and vote on the local law and ordinance. And I provided the council and everyone here with a copy of the ordinance for the water and the local law for the sewer.
All right, any questions for Amanda?
Nope.
I know you weren't here for a presentation last night.
Right, but Amanda sent me an email with the budget.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
Sorry, I had thought I sent that.
No worries.
No. Any questions?
Nope.
Okay. So when we're really coming down to it, there's no increase,
No increase for
present
water.
water, $3 increase, less than $3 increase in the sewer
Per unit,
per unit.
per bill.
Is that okay? All right,
Yep,
thank you.
I'm all set. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Amanda. We'll go into the next business.
The next business is a call for the public hearing for the adoption of the 2024 water and sewer budget to be held on October 19th, 2023, for 6 p.m.
There's no resolution,
We don't have to
We don't.
close, right?
it's just a
No,
public,
it's just a
Okay.
it's just an announcement now for the public hearing. So we'll have a public hearing on October 19th, and then we'll look to adopt the budget from there. Okay.
The next order of business is local law number 4, and this is a local law to amend Chapter 168-1.2 of the Code of the City of Watervliet.
I'll make a motion to move on local law number 4.
And I will second it.
Go ahead.
And this was the local law that council had written for the tipper cans. We had a public hearing at our last meeting. There was no comment during the opening period, and that was closed. And if there's any questions of
So this will require the tipper units for residences where the owner of the property does not occupy at least one unit in that particular residence. So we'll require the 96-gallon larger with the lid and wheels, et cetera, which has not previously been required. There's some very minor changes throughout, but that is the major change.
On the, just on the, one of the thoughts on this, maybe it's an afterthought of listening to, is there a way that we can require that all cans be labeled?
the conversations we had is labeling the address was the next conversation we had is on this ordinance. And one of the offsets to that is if we're going to have our DPW taking photos of the violation, and if it's in an alley, they don't know the address. So we're looking at two things: putting garbage pickup to the front of the property so we can then get the address. But then alternatively is putting the number, this is what you're talking about, the address number on the can itself. And is that done by code? Is that done by law? Is it a special request, a hard request?
I think it's a practical matter. It's going to be something extremely difficult to enforce. So, I mean, you can certainly pass an ordinance or a local law requiring it, but I do question whether it's really enforceable. Ultimately, like how are you going to practically enforce it? What is it going to look like? Are you going to require certain types of information, that sort of stuff? Not everybody has consistent cans, so some people have plastic, some people have metal. It's going to be difficult, but you can certainly pass that requirement.
Well, it's something to think about. I think it's something, again, I think we're toddling and we're trying to get through it.
Yeah. My only other thought, since we had this conversation earlier, is maybe work with CDJJ. If they're the ones that are going to be delivering it, can they do something
To identify it.
to
Other than
identify it
serial number.
directly? That's a big ask, but it's something.
That's tough, because they buy those in bulk,
Correct.
and by law, they have to have a serial number on them, a certain
Correct.
size. But then you're talking, you're gonna have to have them ink stamped, and that would be a big expense, I
No,
would think.
that would be tough, so.
Okay,
Yeah.
well,
But I think.
it doesn't work,
garbage-
it's also worth to try to ask,
Yeah, getting the garbage.
even
out
if it
front would
costs
be-
us couple of dollars and say, hey, look, we'll pay $2 for you to stamp them. And then, you know, as long as the customer's okay with it, then they'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, you can see if it has capability for that.
Okay. Very good. Any other questions on it?
No,
All right.
not me.
No.
All set.
Call the roll.
Councilman Dawes,
Favor.
Councilwoman Diamond,
Favor?
and Mayor Patricelli.
In favor.
The next order of business is an introduction of an ordinance of the City of Watervliet, New York, amending Chapter 168, Garbage, Waste, Littering, and Recycling of the Code of the City of Watervliet.
So this is
Do you want to make a motion for it?
It-
Or is this just
It's
the introduction?
introduction.
Oh, it's
So,
introduction,
okay.
okay.
So this proposed ordinance is an outcome of some conversations we've had regarding the difficulty associated with people violating the various garbage rules that the city of Watervliet has, and then, you know, perhaps being given a ticket for them, but that doesn't mean that the garbage is taken off of the street. So what the intent of this ordinance is that if DPW or whomever sees a placement of garbage that is in violation, they will be permitted to pick it up and ultimately bill the property owner, basically a civil bill, $100 for the first offense, $200, $300 for the third offense, and then the subsequent offense. I think it'll have two impacts. One is obviously it will get garbage off the streets sooner. The current practice now is that people are given a notice to remove it, but doesn't always happen timely. Secondly, I think if the city were to kind of pursue this more than the ticket approach, there would be less of a bog down in city court on garbage-related tickets. A tremendous percentage of tickets that Watervliet City Court hears on code day are garbage-related. So it'll clear up that backlog, but will also, I think, allow the city to remove the garbage quickly, but get reimbursed for costs.
Let me ask you a question on this, and it's just to clarify. Joe, we had that incident that I brought up before, I wanted to talk about it tonight, about where the garbage was, or not garbage, but it was bulk items, not garbage, left in the alley. And it kind of sat there for a couple of weeks, and it's still, I don't know if it's still sitting there now or not, but will this
Yeah, so
will this address it? And at the same time, at what point, I know what the first initial phase is $100, so if you have an owner come in and it's got a lot of junk in their back, they say, hey, for $100, I'll let the city take care of it.
No, I think that would still be remedial, because we're going to write a ticket on something like that, not more of a garbage.
this doesn't prevent the city from writing tickets. It just is an additional way of approaching it. So the
Okay.
ticket route is still out there. To address your first concern, this would apply to garbage, trash, bulk items, recyclables,
Right.
etc. So again, if there's a couch out there that normally would be considered a bulk item, it can be taken, picked up. The person charged the $100, $200, $300 based upon the violation that it is.
But I think, if, say for example, someone's finding, I can have somebody take it out, well, first time defense is gonna be $100. They say,
Right.
worked last week,
Right.
do it again. That, I think you'll see it.
Right, the progression is certainly there too.
Yeah.
My recollection of the cost of bulk items is like $35 or something.
Yes.
So
Right, to get.
it's more expensive.
It's more expensive, but it's also, in some senses, still, even at this, sometimes cheaper than having somebody come in and take that away.
Right, but what are the limitations on bulk items? Well,
They can do it as many times, I think.
Yeah, you can do it as
Yeah.
many.
right,
If you want to
so-
do it all 12 months, you can do it all 12 months.
Right, so, and that costs $35, right?
Per month.
Right. And so this is $100, and it might not.
Yeah, but there's
So
a
if you were
limit.
to do this three
There's a
times,
limit
it
for
would cost you
$35.
$600.
There's a limit for $35. What I think the mayor is insinuating is, say somebody puts a couple couches,
Oh, I see.
a pile of stuff there.
But
We're not
think
gonna
about it, now we have an address, we finding out the
Yeah.
person's getting fined,
Oh, no,
and it becomes
Yeah.
I understand, just trying to explain what.
And again, the minimal, it may happen. I think what we're trying to do is just trying to make sure that we ask people to, you know, be considerate enough to be able to take care of those items. We're trying to work with everybody at the same time of providing the bulk, because that was something that we've never had before, especially the number of times we had it.
Right. With the bulk, with moving it in front, we've cut down on people, I think we've cut down on people getting illegal items dumped there. But I guess my question would be, if somebody comes by and dumps a couch out in front of my house, because they're not going to pick it up, it's not mine, I have to now pay a $100 fee plus get rid of that couch?
Yes,
Yes.
yes. And
It's
that's
not
the-
a $100 fee plus get rid of it. It's a $100 fee
Well,
if
to
the
get-
city
to get
gets rid of it.
But if somebody illegally dumps it there?
Right. So that's the way it works right now, Dave. That's what we're having so many problems with
Yeah,
people
but
saying.
now we're telling people you have to get rid of it, whether they pay the bulk fee or they have somebody come in and pick it up. It's the owner's responsibility to get rid of it.
Well, it's always been.
I understand that, but now you're gonna fine them $100 to pick stuff up.
well, I mean, if you look at it, the other end of that, the remedial bill was even higher.
I agree.
And/or the ticket that accompanied it very often.
Yeah.
Get the remedial bill and a ticket perhaps.
The complaint we also had too, Brian, was that if they didn't show up to court, and after a few months, it kind of got dropped. And they didn't pay a fine at all.
No, that's not really. My understanding of the concern was that based upon how the language exists today, prior to the adoption of an ordinance, was that there was some confusion as to whether the city could remove it while a ticket was pending.
Right, okay.
So this removes
All that.
that arguable ambiguity.
Okay. Excellent. Watch that couch. Okay. So that's going to be,
Yeah, we'll do it for the next meeting.
we'll have it for the next meeting. Okay.
So if there are any suggestions prior to the meeting, feel free to let me know and we can make some changes.
Okay. Anything else?
That's it.
All right. I'm assuming appropriations accounting has been handled.
We've covered that today,
Okay.
Mr. Mayor.
All right. I have a few items before we get into the public comment. Okay, and then anybody else have them? First, we're in the process now of finalizing those brochures that we've been working on for, what is it, Joe? Snow, code, and garbage.
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
Snow, code, and garbage.
Yep.
They'll be, matter of fact, I just got the files as I was coming into the meeting today. So I'll show them to you as soon as we get them done. And we'll have one final brush up look at it and then get them printed. All right?
Yes.
And then whatever we're going to do, we'll go into the water bill. And when you prepare the water bills?
Beginning of November.
Beginning of November. Okay. And are you planning on doing them postage machine or bulk?
What do you mean, postage machine or bulk?
Well, internal here, postage, or you want
Yeah.
to send them out for bulk?
We always do them internally.
Yeah.
But can they go out as a bulk
It all
item?
depends. I thought when we had our last meeting, we were gonna put 2 sheets together.
Yes.
And now, if we're gonna be adding them all, then we can go and have it bulks.
Well, we can do it anyway. You can do it without any sheets in it and still do it bulk.
We can, but we were gonna be doing the bill and adding the 1 sheet, right, the way we talked about it at our last meeting.
Well, the sheet, you have the newsletter, you have and either 1 or 2 of those
Correct,
brochures.
because now we're adding, we talked about 1, that we could fold the 1 and then do the machine, do the other 2.
No, yes, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the postage.
I didn't think we came to an answer on whether we were doing it bulk or in-house. I mean, we can determine that, you know.
Okay,
after
but you
we
can
get it.
if you want
We can if we wanted to,
Right.
yeah. But we have
I
not
mean,
had
it's more
that.
expensive.
To
I'm
do
not in
what?
favor of it.
The bulk is less. Bulk rate.
Bulk should be less, right?
The bulk rate is less. Yeah,
Yeah.
the bulk rate is less. You bring it down and you can have them mail them out bulk. both,
They go by zip code or is it?
well, they go, I don't know, they will most likely go by a little bit of weight, which will be more expensive, of course, if we send them out ourselves, you know, with the bulk, but if we do them bulk, the bulk rate is less. Matter of fact, Amanda, if you have an envelope, do a dummy envelope, and tell me the number, we can bring it down there and he can give you a price, first class or bulk. And it's a lot less.
Is it like a mailing list? Because our bills have names on them.
No, the names are okay. Your name,
Just bulk postage. It's
Just
the-
bulk postage.
It's just the postage for it to be mailed out. It's not first class.
Yeah, it goes under those window envelopes, so the names will still show.
No, it's.
If it's not first class, does that mean it could potentially be delayed?
That's what I just asked, does it
No,
take
not
longer? So, okay.
No, not normal.
But it is closer to Christmas, isn't it?
Is it Christmas?
Just saying.
But they're being mailed out in November, aren't they?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Also, I wanted to mention that today, I don't know if the council, I was there today, there was about over 100 kids at the Hudson Shores Park doing science experiments from North Colony High School
Wow.
today. They were all over the place. They were down at the docks, they were taking water samples, they were catching fish. It was amazing. I took a bunch of pictures and down there, and they were down. I just happened to, I heard about they were coming, but I didn't know when. And I went down there today, and they were all there. There were busloads of them coming in and out of the park.
Well, that's great. Do we know how they ended up wanting to come here?
According to Chris, I believe they've come here before.
It's been an annual track.
Yeah, it's an annual trip that they have. I was unaware of it. I found out again this year.
That's great. I
So, but it
guess
was-
I would have guessed they might have gone to the Mohawk or
Yeah,
whatever,
no.
but that's great.
Yeah, so they had pretty good access. They went all the way down to the docks. And they were all on the
The one
docks.
thing about.
They were in the water.
Yeah, the one thing about the Hudson is it has the tidal. Mohawk doesn't have it as much, so you can't walk
Oh.
out to get down to the river
Oh,
like ours
okay.
does. They don't have the access in the town.
So
park
high
area.
tide, low tide.
Oh, okay.
Right,
All
yeah.
right.
Makes sense too.
That's great.
Speaking of Hudson Shores, anything on the restaurant yet?
I did talk to a couple of real estate agents, and I did talk with Lindsay today with it. So the real estate agents are supposed to give me some answers as to what they would see changed. I did confirm that the mailing that we did and the marketing we did was really limited to the Capital District.
No. I can't hear you.
Was limited to the Capital District.
That's good.
So it did not go,
National.
it did, well, not so much national, but it didn't go down to the city developments and those type of things. So that's gonna be our major focus the next time. And I'm looking to try to get that out by first week in November. And they also talked about giving more time for the development process. I think we went out for 6 weeks, or 4 weeks, I forgot what the time frame was. And we should let it sit there and give it a little more time with follow-ups and things like that, so.
Okay. We'll update anyway. Just to let you know too, that there's going to be another car show at the Hudson Shores Park on the 28th. It's a trunk or treat.
So that's it.
Oh,
Yeah,
October?
okay. So it's going to be down there. And it's actually the only bad part about it, it's the same time as the one at the high school. So kids will be able to do, the kids will be able to do both if they want to, but it's there. Just to also keep you up to date, yesterday we removed the bell from St. Bridget's Church. It's right now down at the Gallo Construction. He's the one that the foundation hired to take care of the bell and to remove the bell. So it's down there. And I believe, Joe, next week, they're planning on starting the one at the Methodist Church here, which is across from the Civic Center.
To remove it?
They remove it.
Okay.
But they're also going to be needing a little bit of road space because they don't have the parking lot that the St. Bridget's had. So, but he's working out the details with Buzzy Thiessen. So that's that one there.
Mike Gallo did call me today, and I did not get a chance to return his call, so yeah, I'll follow up with him.
Okay.
on it. So if we gotta close it down, the street, whatever.
He said they-
parking,
According to him, he says that not Gallo, but the construction guy or the crane guys, said that they only needed a lane, that they would have somebody down there to keep people coming and going. And it's probably a couple of days, that they'll be doing this 2 or 3 days anyway. But they'll be doing that. I have no idea what the condition of that mill is. I'm sure it's probably the same as the timbers.
well, I'll talk to Mike and we'll get all that worked out.
I see that the CSO project, we're still working with Del Singer on the paving, right? They
He
started
finished,
paving.
he did a lot of paving today, he has not done 6th Avenue, he's pulling off to do one other large job, he'll be back probably Wednesday, Thursday of next week. By then, we hopefully have an answer as to what the cost would be for them to
Do
do that 3rd Avenue.
Oh, do the ruts in Third Avenue?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Because then we could use a bigger milling machine, but unfortunately with the rails there, it still might be done by a small swath.
Could they also look at like the ruts on Broadway by the wood burning warehouse? Because it's kind of the same thing on the west side of Broadway.
Right, west side.
Yes.
And he,
even down by the auto body shop.
Even
over
down by the
here
auto shop.
On either end. Very strange.
yeah, and I don't think there are any rails there.
Well, I don't think so either, and that was just done recently after the bike path was done.
That was done right after the bike path, okay. And Joe, can you give us an update, what about the DRI?
The DRI did not make it into this year's listing. We were working on several other grants, and we just did not get into updating the DRI and making substantial changes to make it.
Question. Is this anything to do with the capability or the workload of the architect or the engineer involved?
I wouldn't think that. I think we just need to really take some money and invest in a better application.
Right.
I don't think, if you look at the ones that have been awarded, you have a infantile look, and then you have a
Yes.
fundable look. And I think we're closer to the infantile. I think we need to invest some serious money and use some of the technology that we've got or that's out there and really start to tell a program or tell a story, which
I totally agree.
we haven't done. And this is not, I didn't want to jam it in and not get anywhere again.
Right.
So I think we really have to go out, look at who the engineers were that have been awarded, who did the work to be awarded. Because let's not forget, once we get awarded, it gets out of your marketing engineering firm and it goes to a firm that the state
Yes.
does, and
Yeah.
they manage that $10 million or $5 million. I have talked with Mike Diaboli, and we need to tell a better story.
Right.
So I did not want to waste any money this year to do the application. We need to go out for an RFP. We need to possibly use funding, like ARPA funding or whatever it might be, if we're going to invest in ourselves. So,
And I know this, I know we've talked to Scott Earl, and I know that's good, this is all to be part of this.
we'll find out that.
Okay, good, we'll have to do that. Okay.
So is that something that we could start to work on like now in anticipation of submitting something a year from now?
Absolutely.
That's exactly what, yeah.
Which is where we were last time when we started, until this time.
Yeah. So we'll
Okay.
go out for an RFP probably within the month maybe, and then get that person in there so they're ready and primed for the July timeframe that comes out.
That's all I have.
I just have a quick question. I was reading the article about the program that the Watervliet, our police department and the Cohoes Police Department are partnering on, the LEAD, and that is to help people in need. So if someone is in trouble, instead of them going directly to court and so forth, they help them find services. How does that work? If someone is arrested, do the police officers have counselors that they can reach out to?
So,
I don't know if you know that, I was just kind
yeah,
of curious.
so correct me if I'm wrong on this, the LEAP program was funded through Equinox. And Equinox is funding we have a young woman on staff, right? Is that the one?
I think Equinox is domestic violence,
Domestic
one.
violence.
The Catholic Charities, I think, is.
The
Oh,
Catholic
that-
Charities
okay, I
is
did
this
read
one.
something,
Is it-
okay.
I know.
Yeah.
It was a lot of,
Yeah, 'cause you have
between the
Equinox
argument,
and other ones.
right, yeah, we had a lot of issues that were, not
Yeah.
issues, but confusion on that, but
Yeah.
yes, it's Catholic
So
Charities.
I think what the idea is that police officers have the opportunity to contact what a person who amounts to a social worker
Okay.
as an alternative to just an immediate arrest. And I think that the idea is that they will, if there's a victim of the crime, they may speak to the victim very quickly, like, hey, we could arrest this person, or this is this is a potential alternative, and talk about the positives of it. And then the social worker can provide various services, et cetera.
Kind of like a drug court, only it's not necessarily drug
More
court.
immediate, much more immediate.
More
And not
immediate.
court, no court. in-
No court.
Right, but kind of like that, okay.
The way I understand it too, Barb, is that it's sort of like they still, if the person, let's say, does not cooperate or participate with the agency, they can still be arrested.
Right,
All right, but
okay.
this isn't even arrested, we're not going to go through the process yet, but we're going to come back to you.
Right. No, I was just kind of wondering, so there's someone on call at all, somebody on call that the.
It doesn't have to even be on call.
police
It could be the next day, it could be whatever that they do, because it's
Okay.
not something that they need to address right then and there. It's not like a CBPC type thing of that nature.
officer. Okay.
No, I think it's not for people who are suffering severe,
Right.
mental breakdowns and things like that.
This is just trying to get through it, and I guess they only get one shot at the apple, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, I think it's one shot, they can,
Yeah, I was just curious about how the officers actually,
And they are-
But no, I think it's great.
and they are also working with, what Joe mentioned too, was the Equinox program, was with the other one that was for domestic violence, which is what the police department has asked that that's what the purple in front of City Hall is,
Yes.
because it's Domestic Violence Month awareness. So they've asked to hike it, especially in light of the fact that they have that program going on right now.
No, I think it's great. Okay, thank you.
Okay?
Yep.
All right. We'll go into the public comment. Do you have anything?
No,
The Mohawk Hudson Marathon is this weekend.
That's right.
Oh,
Watch
Is
for
it?
roads.
Right.
Oh, I did have one.
It's,
Don't hit people.
I did have one thing. I see that they're painting 19th Street, or striping 19th Street. Are we teaching somebody to take that program on? Or is he just, Hank just doing it when he can?
We didn't have Hank do it this time. Hank was off and we had Albany County do it.
Oh,
But
okay.
yes, yeah, we've discussed that many times that we gotta start.
See if we get somebody to.
Getting
I saw that it started. I was just.
Yeah,
Are we going to do any of them ourselves, Joe,
yeah.
this year?
Well, yeah,
Because we were going to do it like last month.
Yeah, we're gonna finish it.
Good. All right. Public, we'll move into the public comment period.
at this time, the mayor and the council have authorized a public comment period. If you wish to address the council, we ask that you please step forward and state your name and address for the record, and you'll have 2 minutes to speak.
Public comment period now is open. There is no one here to address the council and provide a public comment, so I'll ask for a motion to close the public comment.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Okay? Close public comment period.
You normally just deem it closed.
Well,
Deem it closed.
well, then we'll just deem it closed. Okay. All right, anything else?
Nope.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
And I will second that.
Call the roll, please.
Councilman Dawes?
In favor?
Councilwoman Diamond?
In favor?
Mayor Patricelli?
In favor. Thank you, everyone. The next meeting will be October 19th.